Hi there, and Luocha is about to come out next week in Honkai Star Rail, and in this video we're gonna talk about things and resources you can already prepare and pre-farm for this character. So when he comes out, you summon for him and get him. You won't have to get to some stages, farm some resources, invest them into the character. You will be able to just simply immediately use him properly. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. And first of all, I want to talk about trace and level up resources, since if we are talking about light cons and relics, the builds for the character of course might adjust when the character comes out, because we don't know the exact numbers, how exactly Luocha will work. But if we are talking about levels and traces, of course we can in theory use the character with not proper relic set or light con, but if you're talking about levels, of course it would be really hard to use character, for example, on level 20. So currently you see all the resources you need to get Luocha to some specific level. And I really recommend you starting exactly from level up resources, since they might be time limited if you are talking about resources you have to farm in overworld, and also of course you have to spend some stamina to actually farm the ascension resources. So with this we are done. Now we're moving to trace resources. Of course you don't have to invest into all the traces for the character, especially day 1 when you only summon this character and start using them, but anyway, I think this is the most reliable thing right after you farm all the level up resources you need. Also keep in mind that you will need a bunch of credits to level up and trace up Luocha, so don't hesitate farming your credits too. If you're talking about full leveling up Luocha to level 80 and full traces, it might take over 3 million credits. Right before talking about Luocha's relic set and light con, let's just say a few words about his kit so you can understand why we're looking for this or that subset, stat or effect. First of all, of course, the main purpose of every abundance character, healing, which is located in Luocha's skill. We are healing one ally, removing debuff, and most importantly, the healing will scale from our attack stat, not HP stat as we have with Natasha or Bilo. So of course, obviously, we really look for attack in his relic sets, and if it's possible in Lightcon. Also, Luocha's skill has passive part where you can just trigger skill by itself and any of your allies drop below 50% of HP on them, though you have to take 2 actions with Luocha to trigger this passive part of his skill, so keep that in mind. And of course that's why we are interested in speed, because the more actions we take, the faster we recharge our passive part of the skill. With Luocha's ultimate, we first of all deal damage to the enemies by AoE, which is really different to what we have on other abundance characters, but right before dealing damage we also remove buffs from the enemies, and there are lots of useful buffs enemy can apply to themselves, so it's really good to use our ultimate as much as possible. Also with our ultimate we can proc our passive healing, which is located in our talent. So now when we at least roughly know what Luocha's kit does, we can discuss his best light cons and relic sets, though keep in mind that when the character comes out they might slightly change him, and depending on this, of course his build will also change, so everything we discuss after this point of the video is subject to change. Though if we are talking about light cons, best option is obviously his signature light con, which will come out as well as the character and we'll have to summon for it. Though if you are already confident that you are skipping the light con, one of the best 4-star options for free-to-plays might be Cute Proco, just because this is a completely free-to-play light con, which you can easily get to Supreme Position 5 with time. If you're talking about summonable 4-star options, Shared Feeling is a really good option, because we are increasing our outgoing healing, not our max HP as we do with some other light cons, and also we'll be able to regenerate some energy when we are using our skill. If you already have time waits for no one, you can actually use this light con, though it doesn't synergize well with Luocha because it increases our max HP, and as we discussed, Luocha doesn't heal from his HP, he does this from his attack multiplier, though if you really want to, you can use this as some kind of a damage dealing option for Luocha, though his damage is already really good, because again your ultimate is dealing damage as well as removing buffs from the enemies, so I don't think this might be a really good option exactly for Luocha. So now when we are talking about for relic set, as we discussed before, Luocha's main purpose is to heal with his attack multiplier and also just have a bit more speed to recharge his passive side of the skill faster. That's why 2 go-to options might be Musketeer of Wildweed, which exactly increases our attack and speed, or Also, we can go for Wandering Cloud, though I don't really think 4-piece Wandering Cloud effect is good. That's why if you want to go for some more defensive option, I think the best way to go for is to have whatever 2 pieces of Wandering Cloud and 2 pieces of Musketeer. This way you will lose some speed, but it doesn't matter that much. The most important thing for defensive play is, of course, increasing your attack, since your multiplier of healing goes from attack, and also, of course, outgoing healing, because this is the main multiplier of healing we have. Talking about planar ornaments, there are a few obvious options which you can maybe already find on your account and just use on your Luocha. First of all, we have Fleet, which will increase our max HP, which is, of course, not that good for Luocha since he synergizes from his attack, though after that we'll increase attack on all allies, so at this point this is a good supportive set, and at the same time we of course are increasing attack on Luocha. If you have any spare space sealing station set, you can just use it on Luocha, especially few first days when he will be released, since this is a really simple planar ornament set. It will increase our attack and then increase our attack even further, and as we discussed, attack is one of the main stats to go for Luocha. If you're talking about potential sets which might be really useful, in theory we might use energy regeneration rate set, but it really depends on how we are gonna play Luocha, and we can find it out only after he is released and after this character is tested, so I don't really recommend you farming any of those planar ornament sets before the character is out, but if you want to prepare anything just to use him exactly day 1, I think the best options are Fleet and Sealing Station. Now, if we are talking about main stats on our relic set, of course we ignore head and hand since they always have HP and attack respectively. If you're talking about body, I think the 2 best options are attack percentage and outgoing healing. If you're talking about just how much raw healing can our Luocha provide, I think outgoing healing would be a bit better, but keep in mind that Luocha's ultimate deals damage, and also most of time you will use his basic attack, which also is about dealing damage. This way I think attack might be also a really good option, because we at the same time increase our outgoing healing and also of course increase our damage by just increasing our attack multiplier. So if you want to go for a bit defensive build, I think outgoing healing is your way to go. If you want to just deal a bit more damage with Luocha and of course heal a bit more than with, for example, defense or HP, then attack is your way to go. If you're talking about feat, I think speed is still the best option, because you can generate more skill points by taking more actions, you can just recharge your passive part of your skill faster, and of course generate your ultimate faster with more actions, and with your ultimate you will be able to remove buffs from the enemy, which is already a significant thing, though at the same time by removing those buffs you will generate the field by your talent, which will also heal your allies. Though if you're skeptical about speed, you can go for attack percentage. In this way you'll just increase your outgoing healing and damage. About sphere, I think the best option is attack percentage, since in this way you at the same time increase your healing and your damage, though you can go for imaginary damage if you really want lots and lots of damage being provided by Luocha. And talking about rope, I think energy regeneration rate might be a really good option, since this way you will be able to just ult more and of course strip debuffs from the buffs from the enemy, and of course at the same time generate more healing if they had those buffs. But if you're skeptical about that, I think attack percentage might also be a really good option, since you just increase your raw healing, not depending on your ultimate. Talking about substats we want to see on our relic set, of course the first priority is attack percentage, as it was mentioned even in this video 100 times. In this way we increase both our damage dealt by Luocha and healing which this character provides. Then I think speed is a really good option, because again we just take more actions in one cycle. Then I think break effect, HP percentage and effect resistance might be a really good options too, because with break effect we'll be able to break enemies with imaginary weakness, while with HP percentage we'll just make our Luocha having more HP, which means our healing character won't die that fast. And if you're talking about effect resistance, it's not that useful, because by default Luocha is already resistant to crowd control, but if you want to make sure that your enemies won't stun or freeze your healer when you really need healing, you can just get those pieces where you have effect resistance as like 4th or 3rd priority role. And that's actually it with preparation for Luocha. If you're summoning for this character next week, I wish you great luck. If you're skipping this character, I wish you to be strong and not just break and start summoning even though you didn't want to. You're saving up for some other character. And that's all. Thanks for your kind attention. Have a nice rest of your day and see you soon.